the great Daniella Hemsley. Obviously, it has been the craziest week, I would imagine, of your life, your career. Tell me about now that the dust has settled a little bit, everything
Yeah.
last Saturday in Dublin.
So obviously, last weekend was a very, very important weekend to me. My first fight, I lost my first fight to unanimous decision, and it was a very important weekend that I put everything that I'd learned in my training and stuff into fight night, and I really, really wanted to get that win. It was a redemption fight. Um, Ireland is crazy, the crowd is crazy, and I went in there, gave it my absolute all, and I got that win, and I got a unanimous decision as well. So I'm very, very happy about that.
And then, of course, the internet was abuzz the second after you win with your celebration. What was the word on the street is the Kingpyn said to you, you know what, that's fine beforehand, and then something went wrong, or what was the story behind that?
I mean, I can't comment too much on it at the moment, but what
Mm-hmm.
I can say is that it was planned. I'm a very expressive person, and it's influencer boxing at the end of the day. Influencer boxing is all about going out there, doing that little something different, getting that viral moment. It's entertainment at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day. YouTube boxers, we're not professional, even though we train like we're professional and we want to box like we're professional. At the end of the day, the thing about it is that it's entertainment, and it's about getting them viral moments and really putting yourself out there. And I'm a very expressive person, and I thought, it, why not? I won, and it was the best feeling of my life. And I just thought, why not express myself?
I would imagine that, obviously on the night you're celebrating, you're talking to people. You did an unbelievable amount of media. I remember in that
I
press room
did,
afterwards.
yeah.
I've never seen the likes of it. And how long did it take before you kind of understood the gravity of what had happened?
I mean, it was pretty much after I did all the interviews.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been told that Twitter has blown up, Danny. You have blown up the internet, and I didn't quite realize until I got my phone back, like half an hour after all the interviews and stuff, because I was still like quite wrapped up in like. I wanted to watch the show, and I wanted to watch my friends fight and do well and stuff like that. But at the same time, it was in the back of my mind, like, what have what I just done really gone that far? But yeah, no, it's been absolutely crazy. The internet's completely blown up. There's been a lot of speculation, and yeah.
It's completely, it was so crazy. Like everyone, it was interesting because obviously you would have saw like Eddie Hearn was
Yes.
very critical. I know that first off, like how like obviously you're in boxing, you're fighting. I'd imagine you're aware of like the number one promoter, but like
Yeah.
before this, like were you surprised to see that he even had an opinion on all of this?
I mean, it's bound to happen. It's inevitable,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it? And I mean, Eddie Hearn seems to hate YouTube boxing anyway. I think he thinks. Can I swear on here?
Of
Or
course, yeah, we can. We'll
oh,
we'll beep
yeah,
it
I
out, but
feel
you
like
can swear.
he just thinks it's like a mistake, doesn't he? And at the end of the day, it's not professional boxing, and I think people need to remember that. Like professional boxing should totally have its own segment and should be respected, this and that in its own way. And I think YouTube boxing is entertainment as well as boxing. It's all different personality celebrities coming together, putting on a massive show, all the entertainment, all the build up towards it, and it's not just boxing; it's everything surrounded by it. So I think Eddie Hearn even needs to remember that, and maybe the YouTube boxing and professional boxing should work together to separate it.
Mm-hmm. No, of course, yeah. It was a very yeah. Like I think that it's. I wonder as well, like when you were planning it and when you were thinking, like, okay, this is what's gonna happen if I win. Did you think like, okay, this is gonna be a pretty big deal, or did you just think like, oh, this will be like a funny little celebration?
I wanted to get them viral moments. That's what it's all about, right? And I didn't think it would be the way that it did. And also at the end of the day, I'm always going to get positive and negative comments. And actually, with what I did, flashing my boobs and stuff, I actually got way more positive comments than negative.
Mm-hmm.
And, my whole YouTube boxing journey so far has been negative, and I think I have gained a lot of respect and a lot of new fans from not necessarily just winning my fight. I think I definitely gained some respect from that, but also, expressing myself and not being afraid to show who I am either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it definitely, I'd imagine the follower count and everything went up, and yeah, I would think like for all your channels, are you seeing a big like a big uptick in audience reaction now?
I am, yeah, and I'm so grateful for everyone, and it has been mainly positive. So yeah,
I suppose,
and I also try and look at the positive comments as well.
of course, the question that is kind of on the tip of everyone's tongue is like, did you get you have an OnlyFans? Did you get more subscribers from Saturday night, or was it more like
Of
did it
course.
affect that?
Of course. And it's so nice as well because I control my OnlyFans completely. So, you know, everyone who messages me, I'm responding back, and everyone's congratulating me on my fight, and, you know, talking to my fans on a personal level. It's so nice. So I have gained a lot of new fans, and yeah, it's been amazing.
Was it a significant? No, I'm not asking for any like financials or any specific amounts, but on OnlyFans in particular, was it like a significant number of people that were not subscribed before that have now got involved and been
Yes.
messaging you?
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been crazy.
It was interesting.
A lot to control, actually. A
it
lot of
was in,
messages.
it was interesting. Sean O'Bannon, who's fighting in the UFC tonight, she was there. She was watching Kiefer Crosby, who was on, I think, just after you,
Yeah.
and she was saying to me the other night, like her concern was that when she was there and like kids were coming up for pictures with her, she kind of noticed, like she had kind of noted, like before anything happened, she's a lot of younger crowd here. Like for a fight, it's kind of a young crowd, and then she obviously saw what happened and she was concerned about that. Do you understand that concern that people had?
100%. I mean, at the end of the day, there's children in the audience, but on the other hand, it's like you're taking your children to a place where they're watching people get beaten out of, basically. So if you can take your child to witness that and witness blood and watch people get absolutely beaten up in the face, you
Mhm.
know, like a pair of boobs is nothing, right?
No, of course, that makes complete sense. So obviously, the Kingpyn final you're not going to be competing on. They've made their statement. You've made your statement on YouTube as well. That
Yes.
perhaps, perhaps it's opportunistic of them to say, "Well, she's like you've already quit," and they've gone, "Well, we fired her." You know, that's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
essentially how it's gone. But you will box again. You're just going to take some time off.
100%. You know, with all the date changes and stuff in Kingpyn, like I haven't had a break. You know, I started my boxing journey in March, and it's been full time. Like I took the social media side, you know, I'm a bit of a clown, I put myself out there, but the training side I took very seriously. Like I was training 6 days a week, twice a day, and it's a lot on the body, and it takes up so much of my time to the point where it has distracted me, you know, from my social media platforms, this and that, because I simply haven't had time to work on it. And I think now, you know, I have got a couple of injuries from my fight, and I really do need to recover those. So I thought, you know, now's a good opportunity to take a little bit of time out, recover, work on my businesses, and I definitely will be back boxing, hopefully in the winter time.
You know, it was the result wise. I mean, this is the thing: is nobody talks about the fight, nobody talks about the performance because of everything that happened. But you know,
Yeah,
you fought a girl who Elle had fought, and a lot of
yeah,
people felt that Elle had beat, or sorry, that she had beat Elle.
yeah,
Whereas there was not that many people who came out of that going, well, you know, it was pretty close. Maybe it didn't go Daniella's way. I remember asking you on the night, but obviously it was so kind of raw at the moment. But did you feel like, and especially if you've watched it back, do you feel like you beat her better than Elle beat her?
I have watched it back. I mean, it's hard to comment because I
Mm.
watched Elle's fight the same day, straight after I watched myself, and you know, I was watching it, and I messaged Elle straight after, being like, "How the hell did you throw such clean shots at Ola when she's constantly like windmilling?" But I think Ola had a completely different tactic in her fight with Elle versus her fight with me. You know, like she was fighting for redemption as well, and I think she just wanted to give 110%. You know, like through the fight, and she is tough. Like she is
Yeah.
relentless. She does not stop throwing punches, and that is hard. And it's hard to keep technical as well. Like be a technical boxer when someone's constantly like throwing windmills at you. But you know, I think I did do really well, and I'm so proud of myself. And to be honest, when I was in the fight, I didn't think I'd won, just purely because of how many shots that Ola was throwing at me.
Mm.
But obviously they weren't as accurate as me, and I was throwing the clean and straight punches and being more accurate and causing more damage. So
Well,
yeah.
that was something that Shauna Bannon had said as well. Was like she was surprised. She mentioned a girl. I don't think she mentioned Ola by name, but I think she was saying like it was like she had been told to do the front stroke like swimming for 5 rounds, and she was able to like because she was just winging her punches. Like there was no direction. Like I would imagine some of them hurt, but at the same time, it's like it was a very unorthodox performance, and it did seem like she was just desperate to get you out of there as quickly as possible. But she's her ability to keep it going for 5 rounds was impressive as well.
Oh yeah, she has got a gas tank, and I think she trained based on how I was in my first fight, of how timid and withdrawn I was from my first fight. I think
Mhm.
she really, obviously, that's all she really had to go by. Whereas I took my first fight as a complete lesson and completely turned it around. I feel like I needed to get a proper beating to understand how it feels, because I've never had like a street fight. I'm not like a scrappy girl. Like, I'm a humble like little teddy bear, so I'm not used to getting hit. So I really needed like a beating to understand and to grow and learn. So the best thing I ever did was fight Julie as my first fight. I do believe that.
Who do you think is going to win the final, Julie or Barbie?
I think Julie.
Very strong girl, but the size difference is crazy. And like at this level, that size
Yeah,
difference is very hard to overcome.
yeah, that's true. But I also think that Julie's more technical. She's way stronger. She really surprised me with her gas tank in her second fight as well. Because I do remember when I fought her, I thought she got like really gassed out really quickly. So she'd obviously been working on that. And Barbie's just tall. She's powerful, but she's not as technical. I don't know. I think it'll be a close fight, but I do think there might be a knockout. I don't know.
That would be great. Will you go and be in the crowd and be a fan there?
We'll have to see about that. But I would love to. I would absolutely love to come. I would love to come and support everyone. 100%.
Do you think that the zone would probably be like, maybe not they might let you go, but maybe not in the front row, maybe not where all the cameras are, in case.
I'll be front row. Ready? No, I'm joking.
Do you think that the zone have probably taken, because obviously you saw this week completely different scenario, but one of the Misfits fights got called off for the press conference antics and all of that. Do you think that the zone are probably now taking a bit of a harder look at influencer boxing and kind of getting a bit stricter on what's allowed and what isn't allowed? Obviously that was a very different situation what happened this week, but do you would you imagine that the zone are probably okay, let's pull the reins in a little bit, let's tighten it a little bit here?
To be honest, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, with the promoters and design and things like that. But at the end of the day, all of these viral moments, like what I did, what everyone does, that's the whole point of YouTube boxing, and it puts asses on seats. People want entertainment. They don't just want to come and watch a boxing fight anymore, especially amateur boxing. Like they want to see the fire, the fights, the scraps, the nudity. I don't know. They want those viral moments. They want to come to be shocked and have a show be put on for them. So I'm not too sure. I don't really know what goes on behind closed doors, and obviously there's going to be a line, but I don't know where that's drawn.
When you come back, who do you want to fight? Obviously, it won't be Whitney anymore. That would have been the plan. But who would you like to fight?
I think fighting Whitney would have been a really good fight, because I think I'm getting more technical. Whitney, she's trained up. She's very technical. Well, I think that would have been a really good fight. But I would love to rematch Julie Pocker. I think now I've learned what I've learned, and I'm going to continue to grow and develop and become a better boxer. I would love to, be put in front of Julie Pocker again and rematch and hopefully beat her this time. Also, Elle Brooke as well. Even though she lost her fight, I think she's probably my biggest inspiration in YouTube boxing. She's so passionate about it, and yeah, I do think she still is the best.
Do you would you like to model your career on Elle's career, or all together?
I'd like to think I'm my own person, but at the end of the day, if I can become up there with the best YouTube influencer female boxer, then 100% I want to strive for that 100%. And I do think Elle still is number one.
Are you a fan of hers outside of boxing, or mainly a boxing thing?
She's the most down to earth person ever. I think she's beautiful. Her and her sister, I really get on with them.
For sure. I'm happy they're not fighting each other anymore. I think if that does ever happen, it would have been better as a tournament final or a big promotion. As the losers bracket, I don't love it. But yeah, I suppose going forward now, what's the plan for the next few months? You're taking a bit of time off boxing, just go to work on your content and let people just start getting back to people, because I'm sure you've got so many messages now the last week. You gotta hit people back. I'm sure your messages on OnlyFans are going to be blowing up, so you might need to get someone to help you out with it.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely am going to still be training boxing behind the scenes. Obviously I'm not going to be competing for a little while now. Recover, work on my brand. I really want to put myself out there more and show people who I am on a more personal level. So I really want to work on my YouTube channel, You know, obviously my content, my TikToks and my Instagram, really just keep growing that, keep building a fan base. And yeah, I mean, I got my boyfriend's fight next week. He's debuting in Prague. He's fighting in Octagon, so that's really exciting. So we head over there next week, and yeah, got plans to go to Brazil. Hopefully get some work out in Brazil, start building a fan base out there, and yeah, there's a lot of exciting things going on. I'm really excited.
Were you and your boyfriend, were you going out before you were into boxing? Like, have you been going out a while?
Dating?
Yeah.
Yeah, we met on Instagram about 2 years ago. I was like, call it a nobody. Like, I didn't really have any followers or anything like that. I was working in insurance, and my life changed while I was with him. So yeah, we're kind of growing together.
What did he think of? What has he thought of the last week?
He loves it. Like, he's all for it. You know, he's super supportive, and he understands the concept of YouTube boxing. And you know, he's a fighter himself. He knows that you got to put yourself out there, and he's super supportive. And yeah, he just eggs me on.
Has anyone in your family or anything been like, okay, come on, you got to chill out, or has everyone been supportive?
I mean, I've done a lot worse things, I think, in my family's eyes. So they're kind of just like, Danny, you do what you want to do, and you know, we'll support you no matter what. So they don't ask too many questions, but I know that I have their support 100%, especially my mom. My mom's like my biggest fan right now.
For sure. Daniella, thank you so much for your time. And
pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was certainly quite the spectacle on Saturday night, and I look forward to your boxing return. If you want, by the way, to shout out anyone or to give a message to your fans before we go, let's do that.
Yeah, I just want to thank all of my supporters who have been there